Imagine this: the eerie glow of mall lights flickering in the dead of night, casting long, sinister shadows across the deserted corridors. This was the backdrop for my nightly grind at a 24/7 general store tucked away in the heart of a South Carolina mall. While the rest of the world slept, I battled the darkness, grappling with the unknown as the witching hour approached. Our store, a small island of commerce amidst the sea of silence, boasted two entrances. One from within the mall itself, and another, more ominous, at the back. A gateway to the unknown, unlocked only after the mall's official closing time at 9:30 p.m. It was my duty to secure this gate, to ward off whatever horrors lurked beyond its cold, metal bars. Most nights passed uneventfully, the monotony broken only by the occasional customer in search of late-night essentials. But then there was that one fateful night. A night that would haunt me for years to come. It started innocuously enough, with the usual routine of stocking shelves and tidying up the aisles. But as the clock struck midnight, a sense of unease began to settle over me, like a thick fog descending upon the mall. It began with a faint rattle, a whisper of movement from beyond the gate separating our store from the mall's darkened corridors. Peering through the metal bars, I caught sight of a figure, a man, his features obscured by the dim light, his gaze fixed upwards as if entranced by some unseen force. At first, I dismissed him as a lost soul, a wanderer in search of solace amidst the empty aisles. But as I drew closer, my heart froze in my chest. There was something unsettling about him, something not quite right. With a trembling voice, I called out to him, my words lost in the silence of the night. But he remained unmoved, his eyes fixed on some invisible specter dancing just beyond my grasp. Panic began to set in as I realized I was alone, isolated in the darkness with this strange and sinister figure. I fumbled for my phone, desperate to call for help, but my fingers shook too violently to dial. In a moment of sheer terror, I turned and fled, seeking refuge behind the safety of the counter. But even there, I could feel his gaze burning into my soul, his presence a dark shadow looming over me. Hours passed in agonizing silence, each minute stretching into eternity as I waited, trapped in the grip of fear. And then, just when I thought I couldn't bear it any longer, he returned, his smile a grotesque parody of humanity, his eyes gleaming with malice. With trembling hands, I reached for the phone, my voice barely a whisper as I pleaded for help. But he remained unmoved, his gaze fixed on me with a chilling intensity that sent shivers down my spine. It was only when he vanished into the night, leaving behind nothing but a haunting memory and a trail of unanswered questions, that I dared to breathe again. But the terror of that night would linger long after he was gone, a dark stain on my soul that could never be erased. As I watched the security footage with my manager, the truth of what had transpired sank in. I had come face to face with something beyond comprehension, something that defied explanation. And though I may have left that job behind, the memory of that night still haunts me. A reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the edge of our reality, waiting to claim us all.
I made the fateful decision to leave behind the familiar streets of my home country, Belgium, and embark on a new chapter of my life in Prague, Czech Republic. The allure of opportunity beckoned me to this ancient city, its cobblestone streets whispering promises of adventure and prosperity. Little did I know, however, that my journey would lead me down a path fraught with darkness and despair. Settling into our humble abode, my girlfriend and I found refuge in a duplex apartment nestled within the confines of an ancient building. The structure, with its weathered facade and time-worn charm, exuded an aura of mystery and intrigue. As we ascended the creaking staircase to our top-floor sanctuary, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were not alone, that unseen eyes watched our every move from the shadows. Despite the age of our dwelling, the apartment itself boasted modern amenities and an abundance of natural light. Yet, beneath the veneer of comfort, a sense of unease lingered, as if the very walls harbored secrets too terrible to comprehend. Little did I realize these secrets would soon reveal themselves in the most chilling of ways. The tranquility of our newfound home was shattered when I agreed to care for a student's beloved fox terrier in their absence. Though I harbored a fondness for dogs, I could never have anticipated the terror that would accompany the arrival of this innocent creature. From the moment it crossed our threshold, an air of foreboding descended upon our once peaceful abode, as if the hound carried with it a harbinger of doom. Night after night, the dog's mournful howls echoed through the halls, piercing the veil of darkness that enveloped our home. Desperate to silence the creature's anguished cries, I offered what little comfort I could, resigning myself to the confines of the couch in a futile attempt to soothe its troubled spirit. Yet, as the hours waned and the moon cast its eerie glow upon the city, I found myself ensnared in a waking nightmare unlike any I had experienced before. In the dead of night, when the world slumbered and the veil between the realms grew thin, I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoing through the empty corridors. With bated breath, I lay paralyzed with fear as the spectral apparition drew closer, its presence suffusing the darkness with an oppressive weight. In the stillness of the night, I reached out, expecting the warmth of my beloved's embrace, only to find emptiness and the chilling realization that I was not alone. Days turned into weeks, and still, the specter that haunted our home refused to relent. Each night brought new terrors as strange noises and inexplicable phenomena plagued our once happy sanctuary. Even the presence of my family, who had come to visit during the holiday season, failed to dispel the encroaching darkness that threatened to consume us all. As the days stretched into an eternity of endless night, I found myself teetering on the brink of madness, my mind unraveling beneath the weight of the horrors that lurked in the shadows. Desperate for reprieve, I turned to the companionship of the faithful hound, hoping against hope that its presence would ward off the encroaching darkness. Yet, as I lay awake in the dead of night, the air thick with the stench of fear and despair, I knew that our fate was sealed. For in the heart of this ancient city, where the past and present converge in a maelstrom of darkness and light, there are forces at work far beyond our understanding. And though I may never unravel the mysteries that shroud our haunted home, one thing remains certain. The darkness that lurks within cannot be banished so easily.
The descent into the abyss of the dark web was not merely a casual curiosity. It was a journey into the heart of darkness itself. The whispers of forbidden knowledge and unspeakable horrors beckoned me, luring me deeper into the shadows with promises of secrets too dreadful to imagine. What began as a passing mention from a friend soon morphed into an obsession, an insatiable thirst for the forbidden fruits that lay beyond the veil of normalcy. Armed with the cloak of anonymity provided by Tor and fueled by a reckless sense of curiosity, I embarked on my descent into the digital underworld. Each click of the mouse felt like a step further into the abyss, each web page a gateway to a realm of nightmares. What awaited me on the other side was beyond comprehension. The website itself was a labyrinth of terror, a digital catacomb where the darkest impulses of humanity were laid bare for all to see. Images of unspeakable violence and unimaginable suffering assaulted my senses, each more grotesque than the last. Yet it was the live streams that truly tested the limits of my sanity. In one stream, a masked figure loomed over a bound and gagged victim, their eyes gleaming with sadistic pleasure as they wielded a knife with unholy intent. In another, a group of shadowy figures prowled the desolate streets, their faces twisted with malice as they hunted their unsuspecting prey. The horrors I witnessed should have been enough to send me fleeing into the night, to erase the stain of darkness from my soul. But the allure of the unknown held me captive, drawing me deeper into the abyss with each passing moment. Then, as if the darkness itself had taken form, I stumbled upon a stream that froze me in my tracks. There, on the screen before me, was a live feed featuring none other than myself. My heart seized in my chest as I watched, paralyzed with fear, unable to comprehend the nightmare unfolding before my eyes. I saw myself sitting at my computer, oblivious to the unseen eyes that watched my every move. Panic surged through me as the gravity of the situation sank in. I was not alone in the darkness. Someone had been watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and now they had me in their sights. With trembling hands, I reached for the power button, desperate to sever the connection to the digital nightmare that had ensnared me. But before I could act, a message appeared on the screen, chilling me to the bone. "We know where you live." The words hung in the air like a curse, a grim reminder of the perilous depths into which I had ventured. Trapped in my own home, a pawn in a game of terror orchestrated by unseen hands, I sat paralyzed with fear, haunted by the knowledge that I was not safe. As I stared into the abyss, I couldn't help but wonder what horrors awaited me in the depths of the dark web, and if I would ever live to see the light of day again. Days turned into nights, each one a descent further into madness. The shadows whispered malevolently, their sinister voices echoing through the empty corridors of my mind. Every sound, every creak of the floorboards sent shivers down my spine, a constant reminder of the danger that lurked just beyond the threshold of my consciousness. And so, my descent into darkness continued, each passing moment plunging me deeper into the abyss from which there would be no escape. The nightmare had become my reality, and I could only pray that someday, somehow, I would find a way to break free from its suffocating grip.
The transition from the comforts of one's childhood home to the daunting realm of independent living is fraught with a myriad of fears and uncertainties. From the mundane concerns of paying bills promptly to the daunting prospect of managing all household chores without the safety net of parental assistance. The journey towards autonomy is rife with challenges. However, it is often the unforeseen twists of fate that cast the longest shadows over this journey, plunging one into a realm of fear and trepidation. Allow me to recount a personal odyssey that unfolded amidst the backdrop of this transitional phase. It all began with the excitement of relocating to my new abode, a quaint single-level ranch boasting only 2 bedrooms, but brimming with promise for a bachelor like myself. Nestled within the heart of a vibrant suburban neighborhood, with its sprawling backyard and inviting deck, the house seemed to beckon to me, promising endless possibilities and newfound freedoms. Yet, beneath the veneer of excitement lay an undercurrent of unease, triggered by the peculiarities of my newfound neighbors. From the incessant swinging of the enigmatic boy next door to the cryptic rituals enacted by his mother, there lingered an unsettling aura that defied explanation. Though I initially dismissed these anomalies as the quirks of suburban life, little did I know that they foreshadowed the harrowing ordeal that awaited me. As I settled into my new surroundings, the sense of disquiet that had initially gripped me only intensified. Each passing day brought with it new revelations, each more disconcerting than the last. From the strange behavior of my neighbors to the eerie occurrences unfolding within the confines of my own home, it seemed as though I had unwittingly stumbled into a realm of darkness from which there was no escape. The turning point came during a seemingly innocuous housewarming celebration, a night that would forever be etched into the recesses of my memory. As laughter and merriment filled the air, an ominous chill descended upon the neighborhood, heralding the onset of a nightmare from which I could not awaken. The sudden appearance of paramedics, the wail of sirens piercing the night sky, and the sight of Mrs. Langer's bloodied form being whisked away on a stretcher, all served as harbingers of the terror that lurked just beyond the veil of normalcy. In the aftermath of the tragedy, as the community grappled with grief and suspicion, I found myself consumed by a profound sense of guilt and dread. Had my presence unwittingly invited the darkness that now enveloped us all? Were the pills I had stumbled upon mere innocuous remedies? Or did they hold the key to unlocking a sinister truth hidden in plain sight? Haunted by these questions and tormented by the specter of impending doom, I made the agonizing decision to sever ties with the neighborhood that had become a crucible of nightmares. As I embarked on a journey to escape the shadows that threatened to engulf me, I couldn't help but wonder if I would ever find solace from the horrors that had shattered the idyllic facade of my new home. In the end, As I drove away from the empty swing swaying in the breeze, I knew that the echoes of that fateful night would continue to reverberate within me, casting a pall over my every waking moment. And though I may have physically distanced myself from the scene of the tragedy, I understood all too well that the true battle lay within, in the recesses of my own mind, where the darkness lingered, waiting to consume me once more.